All right, everybody. Come on in, like and share. I am so excited tonight. For anybody new here, hi, I am Maggie, your substitute teacher. But today I am going to be the student. I am very excited. Someone very special and near and dear to my heart is in class with us today. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to bring her up and I'm going to tell you all who she is. Please welcome to class, Miss Katrinda McQueen. Katrinda, would you like to introduce yourself? And then I'll tell how I know you.
Hello, everyone. I am here with one of my favorite people in the whole entire world, the infamous Margaret Brown, Miss Maggie. I am Katrinda McQueen, newly released author of my morning musings, but I'm also a wordsmith and probably something that Maggie will talk a lot about. I do words for a living because I believe that words matter. Words can encourage, words can inspire, words hurt people, but words can also heal. So we're here tonight to talk about words and wordsmithing and putting them together and putting them in books and just using our words to encourage people in our daily walk. It's me. It's me.
Oh my goodness, everybody. Yes. So Katrinda is so humble, but you all, she is a best-selling author. But before we get to her book, and the link for the book is in the description, and I am encouraging all of you to support and buy this book on Amazon. I'm actually going to drop the link in the chat. Anybody who buys the book during this stream, I will send you a free copy of my book, which is the Maggie cookbook, the Maggie digital download cookbook. So, several years ago, I was working for the Coca-Cola company here in Atlanta. And I started in a tech position. And then when that position ended, I remember looking on the internal job boards and I saw a position in change management that I had no idea what it was. But I read the description and I thought, I can do that. And I applied for that job without all the proper credentials. And I reached out to the hiring manager, was Miss Katrinda McQueen, introduced myself to her and told her I was interested in that position. And after an interview process and all the stuff that y'all already know, she became my manager, and it has inspired me so much. Our paths have crossed and now we are in different places. She is currently the vice president for communications at Coca-Cola Beverages, Florida. So I am so honored to have her here. And she has agreed to speak at the finishing school, a later date to come. But Katrinda and I connected on social media. And I noticed she was always going for these morning walks, which is great, right? And then she would always have these beautiful poems and writings and sayings about her morning walks. And I thought, that's wonderful, very inspirational. Then, about a month ago, I get an invitation to a birthday party. Katrinda just celebrated a birthday like me. And it was not only a birthday party, it was a book signing, y'all. It was a book signing. So, Miss Katrinda, please let us know about the morning walks and your inspiration that you used to share on social.
So there's actually two parts to the story, and if you or when you get your book, you will find out that I have wanted to be a morning person my entire life, and I'm not. I'm just not a morning person, and so I actually started with a book. Here I am plugging somebody else's book. There's a wonderful book by Hal Elrod called Miracle Morning, and it talks about getting up at 5 a.m. and starting your day kind of in a routine to just kind of help you get going. So I took on the challenge of creating these miracle mornings, and among the things that he says that you should do, exercise, read, and write. So me not being a morning person was trying to figure out how can I get all of these things into one. So my exercise became kind of walking the dog. And that's kind of when I did my devotional and just kind of talking to the Lord and asking him questions and different things. I live in Florida, and mornings in Florida are just absolutely beautiful. And so as I was talking to the Lord, he was talking back and giving me these messages. And I started saying, well, what am I supposed to do with this? So I started writing them down. And it seems like morning, more I wrote, the more he talked. And so then I, kind of kept saying, okay, Lord, but what am I supposed to do with this? So I started posting them on Facebook right around the time of the pandemic, because all of us were going through a little bit of solitary confinement at the time. And I was actually amazed at the number of people that commented or said that what I had written actually touched them in some way or meant something. So a dear friend of mine said, kind of casually, "You need to put these in a book." Okay. That wasn't on the agenda, but I just continued to a trust the Lord and be led by Him, and just continue to write. And then through His awesomeness, you can't out God. He connected me with a person who actually is a publisher, and the connection came through New Jersey. This publisher lives 1 mile away from me in Tampa, Florida. So I took that as divine appointment, that that was the person that I needed to work with. And so we put them together, and now we have my morning musings. But it's really a faith walk. It's an opportunity for me to use a gift that I didn't realize that I had at the time. I do words for a living. I never really thought about doing words for life, but I realized that if I can help just one somebody by any of the words in my book, then I've done a good thing, and so that's important to me.
Oh my goodness, I love it. I have so many questions. We've got so many people coming through in the chat saying hello. Lisa says, I love her heart. Good evening. Christopher Williams has a question, Miss Katrinda, if you're open to questions. Christopher says, would you say that the morning walk is a spiritual ritual?
I would, Christopher. I'm always cautious with the word spiritual. They say two things you're not supposed to talk about: politics and religion. And so, when I read the word spiritual, or when I think of the word spiritual, I'm always cautious. For me, yes, it is. It's when I talk to God. Like I said, I'm combining two things. I'm walking the dog, but it is a ritual. I do it every single day, regardless of where I am, even regardless of the weather. And that's not something that I ever thought that I would do. Is I'd taken out when it was a cold morning, but I do it every day. It's become very meaningful to me, and so it is an opportunity for me to commune with a higher source, a higher power. Sometimes I do more listening than I do talking, and some days I don't give him a chance to get a word in edgewise. But it is very definitely a ritual.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I have lots more questions. And for those of you all, again, the link to Katrinda's book is in the description. I've also dropped it in the chat. She is, and we're going to get to this currently, and we want to keep her there, #1 in the, and correct me if I'm wrong, is it the spiritual and inspirational category for Amazon books?
So slipped a little bit. So I do need everybody on here to help me get back up. But I released the book on Friday, November 24th, which just happened to be my 67th birthday. So I did a thing for my birthday. But the way Amazon works is the day you release, they watch your sales throughout the day. So we released at noon. At 2 p.m., we were number 14 out of 100 in the religious faith category. By 5 p.m., we went to 40, we went to 14, and we ended the day on Friday the 24th as the #1 new release in the religious faith category. So obviously, as the days have gone by, I've slipped down a little bit, but really the goal here is to encourage people. Words matter, and we don't get a chance to talk to people like we used to and have conversations with people like we used to, and we're all so very busy that even when we have time, we just can't get to everybody. And so these words on these pages are literally meant to encourage you. You can read it from cover to cover if you want, or you can just pick it up, look at the index, see something that catches your attention, and read it as part of your morning routine, whatever that might be. Some people read while the coffee is brewing. I have another friend that reads while they're doing their morning constitution or whatever you want to call it. But, they're very brief and they're just words of encouragement. And if you notice in the book, I don't think you can see it on Maggie's, but the subtitle is a collection of thoughts to encourage your daily walk. And that's really what it is. They're not dated. So, you can read two a day, you can read one a week, however, you choose to use them, but really words of encouragement.
I love that. And you're getting some happy belated birthday wishes in the chat. Look at her, y'all. 67. Oh my goodness. I am so encouraged and looking younger and just it's so inspiring for me. So we have another question from Christopher, and then I also want to get take a step back when you talk about I do words for a living, because I know what that means, but I want to make sure everyone knows what that means. Hello, Dr. Sherry is in the house. Christopher has the question again, Miss Katrinda. He says, "What are the intentions for the book?"
Oh, Christopher, you're asking hard questions. The intentions for the book really are to bless people. Now, as I talk to people more and more about the book, I've been a journaler for probably, okay, somebody help me, 1974. So coming up on 50 years. I have boxes of journals at my house. There's some that say burn when I die, but I have boxes of journals where I have just written my thoughts over the years. I have prayer journals, I have idea journals, I have, just the mad at the whole world, let me write stuff down journals. And so a secondary purpose for the book is to encourage people to really wrap themselves around the value of your words. And so they're yours. You can write them to share, like I did here, or you can write them in a journal and leave them. I have journals for my grandchildren. I want them to know the kinds of things that I was thinking about and I was going through, because I can't talk to them every day. So a secondary purpose is to kind of get us back to the real meaning of words and capturing our words. Whether you record them in a journal, I have friends that record them in their phone. They do audio clips to record their words, but that we don't ever lose the real value of words in our society and what they can mean to people. Words are free. You can call and encourage somebody for free. You don't even have to pay for the call anymore. I was talking to somebody yesterday about when we had to pay for long distance calls, and that seems like forever ago. But you can literally call somebody for free, use your words to encourage them. You can send a text and use your words to encourage people. We talked about my morning ritual. I ask God every day, who do I need to pray for today? How can I pray for someone else? And so I started sending those people a literal text that says, God brought you to mind today, and I am praying for you. If there is a special need, let me know. I believe in specific prayers, but even when I don't know specifically what to pray for, it doesn't stop me from praying for you. Those words on your behalf matter. And so, Christopher, I'm not sure that I answered what you wanted to hear, but I think it's getting us back to the value of our words and more importantly, kind of how we use those words to encourage each other.
I absolutely love that. And I love what you said about words are free. And you all need to know. I mean, I worked for Katrinda years ago before the pandemic, and so many things in life have happened since then, and we have stayed connected. And she is true to her words. She'll send me a text just thinking about you, or she'll call me out of the blue. And I just know I feel so special in that moment. To her point, in this fast paced world where we have a thought about someone, it's like, yeah, I'll get around to it. it. Taking that time to really reach out with a call or a text or a compliment, or I see you on your channel, or I see you on your journey or whatnot. It really is encouraging. And I try to pay it forward, here using social media to give back and teach what I know, but then also bring in other teachers to share with the community, because I do believe we can edify. And my report card note about Margaret talks too much hopefully can be a blessing um, for others. Christopher has another question, and I have to say something. I'm going to be honest here. So, Christopher's asking me, Miss Maggie, how did the book make a difference in your life? So, I have to be very honest. I cannot tell a lie. So, you heard the timeline. Miss Katrinda said her birthday party was November 24th. It was a Saturday, I believe.
So the
And then
birthday was on the 24th, the party was on the 25th, and then you left the country. So you
I'm glad you know that. So, I did take the book. Absolutely right. So I flew out. You all know that I just left for a cruise, the Maggie Meetup cruise. Thank you so much, Christopher Williams, for all of the support. But I was gone, sailing away on the ship, and I did have the book with me, but I haven't read it all yet, but I do want to show you all something. What's wonderful about it, it's not the type of book that you need to read. You can read it cover to cover, but I'm going to hold this up. If you all can see like the table of contents, like it's very, maybe like 2, 3 pages. They're basically a little collection of little stories, little thoughts that Miss Katrinda had. So you can pick it up and read it or reread it. So I'm going to read it from end to end. But I remember sometimes when you're on your social media feed and you would just see these beautiful pictures of the sky that she would take on her morning walk, and I would read that, and it was an encouragement. It was an uplifting moment. It was just something to kind of stop the madness and appreciate the moment. So that's what it's made a difference for me. And this is a book that I will keep, obviously, and read and reread, because in the autograph that Miss Katrinda did for me, she says, Margaret, y'all know my name is Margaret. Maggie is my childhood nickname. She says, words matter. Keep chasing your dreams. Live well and be blessed, Katrinda. So I am so grateful. All right, so I want to take a step back, because I know, Miss Katrinda, you talk about you do words for a living, but I want to explain to people what that means. Because when I worked for you at Coke, you were the director of change management and communications. So for those of you all that don't know, at least when we were at the Coke office, the headquarters here in Atlanta, think of it like a college campus, 5,000 people and all these services. So whenever there was a change in anything, there had to be messaging that went out. And so Katrinda's team was part of that communications. If you would share whatever you'd like to about the work that you've done when you say, I do words for a living.
Well, and change management is another one of those things that I don't think anybody went to college thinking, okay, I'm going to do change management, because most of us didn't even know what actually it was. And if you kind of boil it down, it really is communicating what's about to happen, or what is happening. And so change management is kind of an ongoing evolution, especially in our society now. The pace of change is just phenomenal. I think we're at what, iPhone 15 or 16. So if you just count the iterations of iPhone, you can think about how fast things are changing. And so when I say I do words for a living, when you say something is changing, you can either create dread or you can create excitement. And so what we had to learn from a business perspective is to really be clear about what was changing and what was not, because there's something that's actually called a change curve, where there's some people that go, oh, here we go again, another one of those one hit wonders, and let's see how long this change is going to last, and this one's not going to work any better than the last one, and you guys have heard it all. And so in the whole scope of communicating with those 5,000 folks that Maggie talked about on the Coke campus, it was really important that we got the words right, that we said the right things. and that we were authentic in what we were saying, which is not always easy in a large corporation. We call it corporate speak. They tell you what they want you to hear. But the organization, the corporation is made up of people, and you have to be authentic in what you're saying to them and when you're saying it and how you're saying it. One of the key tenets that we practiced then, and even more so now, is that the message is best communicated by the person who has the trusted relationship. If my supervisor doesn't know what's going on, he can't communicate with me. He's just as lost as I am. So it's really important that we get the right words and the right people delivering the words. Some people say, well, why are you the right person to deliver these words in the book? Because I'm just like everybody else. When you read in there about some of my days where I was struggling, very authentic, very real. It was what was going on that day, and there are a whole lot of days where my team hears me say, "Father, I stretch my hands to thee," because I'm going through just like everybody else. And so um, words really do matter, and I can't say that enough. And I think whether it's in a corporate environment, our personal lives, our relationships, there's a writing in there about relationship goals. If you care about people, you tell them. It's real simple. You tell them. You tell them, and you mean what you say, and you say what you mean. Oh, she knows I love her. She knows I care. My children know. No, they won't know if you don't tell them, and if you don't use words to affirm the way you feel about them. So, a little bit about what I do. It's kind of funny. I am probably one of those people that gets excited about the script spelling bee. And it just amazes me. I love the origin of words and kind of where they came from and what they actually mean. And my team laughs at me because I'm one of the people that also uses the Urban Dictionary. Because what I think about, and somebody asked me about the word musings, because that's not a word we use anymore. They're daydreams, they're ideas, their thoughts, fill in the blank. But a muse is a source of inspiration. And I use the word musings because these are words that in the morning were sources of inspiration for me. And so all of the great artists had a muse. They had a person that inspired them. Mine actually happens to be a higher source. But when I say that I'm a wordsmith, if you look it up, it's actually a word, and it's just a person who's an expert at the use of words, a person whose vocation is writing. So technically, all of us can be wordsmiths. All of us can get our journals and record our thoughts and our ideas and leave a legacy for our children and our grandchildren. But I do spend a significant part of every day working with words and challenging not just myself, but also my team at Coca Cola Beverages Florida to make sure that we're using the right words to communicate the right messages to the right people the right way. I'm not saying we get it 100% every time, but we sure spend a lot of time every day trying to make that happen.
Oh my goodness, I absolutely love that. I have one more question about work, and then we're going to get into this book and the inspiration behind it. And I see you, Christopher, is peppering us with questions. I love it. Those of you all with questions for Katrinda, please put them in the chat. I've also, I'm going to drop the link if you want to ask your questions, camera on or camera off. And thank you, Dr. Sherry has bought the
Yes.
book. And so you will get a copy of I'm going to send you an autographed copy of the Maggie cookbook. So for anyone who just hopped on, anyone who orders Katrinda's book during the stream, I'm going to send you, oh, it's upside down. I'm going to send you my digital cookbook so you have instant access to my favorite recipes. But Sherry is going to get you're gonna get the autographed copy. Okay, so thank you all. Thank you. Yes. So, Katrinda today is the Vice President of Communications for Coca Cola Beverages Florida. And I remember when you moved into this new role from Director to VP, I remember you said you were responsible for all communication. It could be anybody writing in about a product they didn't like the taste of something to big changes. Can you share whatever you'd like to about what you do for work now? And then we're going to get all into the book.
Um, this one's a little hard for me too because I love what I do, and I am finally at that point in my life where I get paid to do what I love. So what is it they say? Do what you love, and it doesn't feel like work. I'm right at the edge of that one, but I'm pretty close. And so the short version of what I do is I am a public relations firm. I do all the external communication, all press releases, all customer communications, anything that's external for the company. And then I'm an internal corporate communications firm because anything that goes to an associate also comes from my team. My team handles the company's website, the intranet, all of our social platforms. We support all of our activations in the community. So if you see something about Coca Cola Beverages Florida, which just happens to be the fourth largest bottler in excuse me, the sixth largest bottler in the Coca Cola system. So we're six out of 68. We are the fourth largest Black owned business in the United States. And we operate in Florida from Jacksonville all the way down to the Keys with about 5,000 employees. So we manufacture and distribute about 119 million cases of product each year, and we serve about 21 million consumers in the state of Florida. So think about talking to all of those people under all of those circumstances, and that's what I do.
OMG. Yes, mind is blown. So, yes, you all, those of us who work in corporate or any role that you have, whenever you get messaging, just know that there is a lot of work put behind multiple drafts of those communications, even if it's something as simple as we're closing for, inclement weather. Believe me, there have been a lot of eyes and revisions of that. And that's some of the work that I did when I worked for Katrinda here in Atlanta. And I tell you, her writing and her penmanship and just the notes, and she would always come, those of us come with our laptops, we're banging on the keys, but she would actually write. There's really something beautiful about actually writing, and communication is becoming a lost art. So I'm just so excited here. All right, so I'm going to scroll back up. Christopher had another question for us. Miss Katrinda, he says, if you had a favorite word, what would it be?
My favorite word today is faith.
I love that. I almost got excited because I thought you were about to say my favorite word is today. And I love that because I'm like, what a word in the moment. We've got Professor S in the chat saying, I'm relocating to Florida. Let me know if you need another great mind to add on your team. Oh, if I lived in Florida, Katrinda has been asking me to come to Tampa. Two boys, sophomore and junior, and then I will be free. But yes, 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 yes. Okay, so Christopher has another question. Miss Katrinda, what is your favorite book, and what book did you read that changed your life, and how?
Oh, Christopher, I honestly cannot tell you that there is a favorite, only because I don't know how many I own right about now. I moved to Florida in 2018 from Atlanta, which is when Maggie and I worked together. And when I moved, I gave away about 2,500 books because I simply couldn't bring them. And it was funny because my godson was helping me box them up, and it became a challenge for him. He wanted to know just how many books he could get in a box. And then he started counting the boxes. Now, those are the ones that I gave away. If I took my camera into my office now, on every shelf, they're too deep, because I love words. I'm old school. I read hardback books. Yes, I know that I can put them on a Kindle. I travel quite a bit, and yes, I have a Kindle. When push comes to shove and the suitcase weight limit won't let me take books, I'll take the Kindle. But I read all the time. I read at least 15 minutes a day. I'm trying to push it to about 30. um, the book that I read that I honestly believe has changed my life, and there's a bit of sincerity in here, is the Bible. And the reason that I say that is when I was growing up, everybody read King James Version. I didn't know there was another version until I was, as my mama says, good and grown. And as I've gotten older, I have realized the value of different versions of the Bible, and being able, when I don't understand something in the King James Version, I go over to the New International Version. And if I don't get it there, I can go over to the Message Bible, which makes it almost so plain. It's like, whoa, this is what I need. I even have a children's Bible. Sometimes, that's the way, for me to get it, but it has changed my life. Proverbs 16:3 and 4 says, commit your plans to the Lord and he will prosper them. This was a plan, y'all. And I just said, Lord, if this is what I'm supposed to do with my crazy busy schedule, I'm going to need you to help me make it work. He sent me a graphic designer, an awesome, awesome, awesome young Black female who designed this beautiful cover and this website that we're looking at. Sent me the right publisher, sent me an editor, sent me a typesetter. And so um, that book has changed my life, because as I've gotten older, and that's why my word today is faith. Every single day for me is a faith walk. I have faith that if he wakes me up, whatever he brings to me in that day, good or bad, is a faith walk. He has faith in me that I'm going to be able to handle it, whatever it is. And so my job is to trust him. So faith, probably followed by trust, is the word right now. But faith is what keeps me going. It keeps me in the hunt. It keeps me in the fight. It keeps me taking on every day and everything that comes with the day.
I absolutely love that. And yes, they are saying amen and preach in the chat. So I see you, Christopher. But I do want to get to Professor S's question, because hopefully, you all see how special Katrinda is to me, and why she is such an incredible spirit and mentor to me and inspiration. But I do want to make sure we actually talk about the book and the process, because, like I said, y'all, this was a surprise to me. I got a birthday invitation last week, well, last month for last week, and it was a book sign. And I'm like, when did you become an author? So I want to learn just like y'all. So I guess first question for me, is this your first book? And Professor S wants to know, did you self-publish on Amazon, or did you go through a book publisher?
Okay. So it is my first book. And be careful what you pray for. Let me say it that way. So this is the first book. The book came out on November the 24th, which was a Friday. And on Saturday, November 25th, I sent the second book, the first draft of the second book, to the publisher. So we're on a roll here, but we'll see how things go. It is my first book. And specifically the question about self-publish on Amazon or go through a publisher. All right, this is when I start sounding preachy. Knowledge is power. So um, I thought that I wanted to self-publish, but I also realized that I didn't know what that meant, what it really meant. So the first set of work for me was to really understand what self-publishing means. Now, the old days of people putting their manuscript in the envelope and shipping it off to Shriver and some of the other publishing houses and Houghton and hoping that you get picked up. I mean, people still do that. There's nothing wrong with that. But people also want editorial control of their material. And so self publishing is an option. The work is for you to understand what self publishing means. You can get an ISBN number, which is a standard book number for your book, and you can work with someone to actually, you know, set it and make a tangible product. But then what? So there is a lot of work that goes into self publishing on Amazon. So once I realized all of the steps and all of the things that needed to be done, I had to be honest with myself that I did not have the time. I understood what needed to be done so that as I started talking to publishers, I knew what I was asking for, but I also knew that I couldn't sign up to do that myself. I just didn't have the capacity with my professional commitments and just my day to day. So KDP, the Amazon publishing, is an absolute great tool, but I would just encourage anybody that is looking to publish to do the research, find out what you're actually signing up for. KDP is simple because Amazon helps distribute your book. And so for me, I have a dear friend, Maggie, I think you met her at the book signing. She has published 4 books, and she published them all kind of in different ways, with each one kind of being a learning process. But she goes to the post office literally every other day mailing out books because she's her first 2 books she self-published, so she was the distributor. Y'all, I can't. I mean, I love signing books and sending them to people, but I can't ship out 50 or 60 books every day. I just don't have the capacity for that. So Amazon, and almost everybody has Amazon Prime. I mean, there were folks that ordered books last or what Friday the 24th, and they had them by Sunday. I couldn't do that for you. I couldn't. I just can't. And so that's another part of realizing what the work is and what you have the capacity to do and what you need to outsource. I have, well, I had about 200 books here at my house, and yes, we've been sending out books every day because anyone that wants a signed copy, of course, I'm happy to sign it and ship it for you. But that is a commitment that comes along with being an author. There are a number of people. Just got off the phone with my sister in Augusta, Georgia. There are a number of people that got their books on Amazon, and now they're saying, "Well, how do we get you to sign them?" So yes, I can go to a book signing, but the work to get them the book has already been handled by someone else. And I'm not having to increase the price for the postage because, again, most folks have been ordering with Amazon Prime, and so they aren't paying any postage. If I ship it to you, obviously there's a postage fee associated.
Absolutely. I'm going to see if I can pull up the pictures from the book signing because I had a question about that too. We have a couple more ladies who have bought the book. Lisa White says just ordered and I can't wait. Thank you so much, Lisa. Lisa, I know you already have a Maggie cookbook, so you are going to get an Only Pans t-shirt. So inbox me your preferred size and I have some t-shirts I'm going to send. So for anyone who just hopped in, if you order Katrinda's book during this stream, you get a cookbook from me. I also see here Kay Sky says just placed my order. We'll receive it on Tuesday, December 5th. So Kay, if you would please inbox me Facebook or Instagram. I'm Maggie the Substitute Teacher on all platforms, or Maggie the Substitute Teacher at gmail.com. I will send you my cookbook digital download so you have access. And it's an interactive cookbook, y'all. You get the recipe, you get the ingredients, but you also get a video of me making the dish. And it's broken up into breakfast, snacks, beverages, desserts, and I think meals. So I could not be happier to support. So yes, I am so excited. I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
I was just going to ask if we have time for me to read something.
Absolutely, please.
So, just kind of based on what folks have been saying or asking about, this is something that's in the book, and it's actually called Learning How to Fall. Sometimes you fall down because there is something down there you're supposed to find. This is actually a quote from Dr. Travis Bradberry, who is an author. In all of the various curriculums and courses that most students are part of in our 12 years of schooling, I don't recall a single course on teaching us how to fall. So, where and when do we learn how to fall and what to do when we fall? If you've ever observed a toddler who's learning to walk, their focus is on standing up and moving forward. As the parent or the adult in the room, our focus is on hoping that they will not fall. This is futile because falling is part of the learning process. They are surely going to fall. The toddler is excited about the coaching and encouragement they are given as they make repeated efforts to stand, let go, and move forward. It fuels their desire to keep trying. But how do we respond when they fall? Too often, we rush to console in what might not even be a consolable moment. They fell, bottom first on the carpeted floor. What's there to console? Why should they be sad? When this happens, and our rapid response is to rush to them, we inadvertently teach them that falling down is bad. Falling down is not bad. It's falling down and hitting your head on the concrete that's bad. We are even worse as adults. When we fall on the carpeted floor, it's not bad. We fall on the concrete and hit our heads. It can be uncomfortable, slow us down for a bit. Concussion protocol says you may even have to sit out a few plays. I think this is what Dr. Bradberry is telling us. When you fall, don't be in such a hurry to get up. Take time, check yourself for bruises, and then pause. Sometimes when you fall, it's for you to look around and to see what you're supposed to be learning in that instance. What's down there that you need to find?
Oh my goodness, that was incredibly beautiful. That line about what are you supposed to see when you're down there. So you all can see that's just one selection from Katrinda's book. You can see why just scrolling through social media all these years and we would get little glimpses into her morning musings, and now you have a collection of them in her book. So yes, I am so excited. I cannot wait to crack it open. Red Bunny Classic says amazing. Dr. Sherry says wow, powerful. So yes, Dr. Sherry, this is coming your way. Professor S says that was beautiful. Killis has given us hearts. Rodney says falling isn't failure. Absolutely. Yes, Professor S is asking about the shirt. This is the Only Pants t-shirt. If you know, you know. So you all who already have a cookbook, if you order Katrinda's book during this stream as a gift from me, I want to send you something. You are most welcome. Professor S says, thanks for breaking that down for me. My first book is almost complete. And I wanted to do this as well because people often ask me, Maggie, are you going to have a book? Are you going to have a course? Are you going to do this? And it's like, there's one of me and how many other responsibilities like you just said. So I love that you talked about delegation, because Killa says you'll be more efficient, productive, and profitable when you delegate tasks to professionals while you keep creating. I love that. It's kind of hard for us control people, but I'm sure you're so glad that you made that decision.
I am, and I will tell you, definitely a learning process. I mean, there are already things that I'm incorporating in the process for book two that I didn't think through or didn't know to think through in book one. A couple of things that I will share just as part of those learnings. Think big picture. A book is not just a printed book. There are ebooks, there are audiobooks. I have gotten probably about 30 requests since November 24 for an audiobook. Folks that have said, I love the concept, I've heard some of the things that are in there. I do not have time to sit down and read. I'm in the car 30 or 40 minutes a day. I would love it if it were an audiobook. I didn't think about that. I just thought about getting these words printed. You can get it on Kindle on Amazon, but think about that when you're going into this. Um, I love that Maggie has her um, recordings where you can watch her preparing the meal because needless to say, that's not my gift. But it's so much easier for me when I see her doing it and seeing how it all kind of comes together and she plates and makes things beautiful. I wish I could hire her to be my chef. But think big. Think of all of the formats and the forms that you want your product in. So as you're creating it, you're taking that into consideration because now I'm having to go in the studio in a week to do an audio book because I didn't think about that on the front end. That if I had considered that, I'd be that much further ahead. There is an amazing, amazing, amazing community of writers. There are Facebook groups, there are LinkedIn groups. It's just amazing how um, people are so willing to help. And so join those communities. Now, filter out the riffraff. I say that with all sincerity, because there will be people that try to talk you out of your dream and your vision, and it is yours. Remember, words matter, they are your words. But join the communities, join the groups, because people share information. I've learned about people's ups and their downs, um, but join the groups, do the research. Literally, as my granddaughter says, everything that matters is on the Google. And so, you can look up Amazon rankings and how you can get in the rankings and how they do the rankings. You can't get into the algorithm. They hold that pretty close. But understanding what you need to do to have your book be a number one new release and how you have to time it and the ins and the outs. It's out there. It's in the public domain. And so decision can be use a professional to do that. It comes with a cost, but you still need to know enough yourself to understand if that professional is giving you what it is that you are hiring them or securing them to do. I never will forget Oprah Winfrey saying she always signed her own checks. Well, in order to do that, she had to know what the check was for and did the services get delivered and all of those kinds of things. This is kind of the same way. You either need to know enough to be able to do it yourself and that you have the capacity and the resources to do that, or you need to know enough to know what you are hiring and to be sure that you are getting the services that you're actually hiring out.
Oh my goodness, that is such good advice, and especially from someone who's been through it and now has that experience to share with us. And I love that the grandbaby said everything that matters is on the Google. I absolutely love that. But yes, the resources are there, the communities are there, and I think that's one of the things sometimes we don't do in our community is ask for help. We just kind of either believe what people say or just think, oh, it's not possible or it has to be done this way. So I really appreciate you sharing that. And I would love an audiobook. I know that's more work on you, and so it's kind of like me, like, oh, one more thing.
It's
But
it's
you all, it's coming. I love that. And you all heard her read just that one section. And so you can imagine taking your morning walk or your morning exercise and having those affirmations. But the book is available now in paperback, and it's available in Kindle if people wanted the immediate download, and then the audio book is to come. Anything else about how they can get the book?
No, if you there, the easiest way to get the book is on Amazon, and thank you, Maggie, for putting that out there. If I believe you also put the Cash App out, if you would like a signed copy, you can pay for it via Cash App, and then we'll connect. Excuse me, on me shipping that to you. You can also connect with me on my website, www.katrindamcqueen.com. Please sign up for the emails. I hope I'm coming to a city near you soon. And if you've got that book, I am more than happy to sign it for you. And if I'm not coming to a city near you soon, invite me and I'll come. Um, so I am always happy to spend time with people. Words are just a part of my life, and I enjoy people. I enjoy sharing words. Thank you, Maggie. You can contact, excuse me, fill out the contact form, and it will put you on my email list. Excuse me, and we'll let you know where we're going to be and when we're going to be there.
I absolutely love that. And y'all, this is so beautiful. How appropriate the email is, words matter at katrindamcqueen.com. That is so beautiful. And I did put, so there's the contact form, and I know Killis put it in the chat. I'm actually going to drop the link for you all as well, so you have her website. And in the ticker, you'll see here her Cash App is $ Dr. I want to make sure I get it right.
JK.
JK Mac. Okay, perfect. So it's scrolling along the bottom there. That way, if you want to get a signed copy of the book like I was able to, you can absolutely do that. So let's see. Are you okay to have a few more questions, Katrinda?
Sure, sure.
Okay. So let's see, what else are you all saying in the chat? I thought I saw something here. Red Bunny says falling on concrete is definitely bad. Yes, absolutely. We got Shonda Brown in the house saying, I'm so proud of my BFF, Proverbs 17:17. Thank you so much. Yes, we are so proud of her. Dakota says your toddler needed to hear that. Yeah, we all fall, y'all. We continue to fall even as adults. We got Bella in the house saying that reading was powerful. And Dakota says she's written 3 children's books, and now this rekindles my hobby. You mentioned something, Katrinda, about a second book. Do you want to tease anything that might be coming next, or too early?
No, I can tease it. Just can't quite tell you when it will be out. It is a process, and I can't remember who said about hiring the professionals, but it's a process. It is a full time job, and so in a real sense, you should be doing something. If you're trying to publish a book, you should be doing something every day. And so, what's scary about that is if you're trying to do it all yourself, you can't be creative and be the business owner at the same time. So, that's when I realized I needed to offload some things to the publisher because I needed to be in the creative space. Just a word of caution, don't wait until you're finished with the manuscript to get into the business of publishing because it takes probably 6 to 8 months to get it published if you're not careful. So you don't want to have a finished product and now you're going through all of that. Now that's fine tuning your cover and typesetting and proofreading and editing, and depending on what it is, you might want a beta reader. But you need to think, build out your plan so that you got all of these things kind of going. Because on the days where you have writer's block, do the business stuff. But if you haven't even thought about what the business stuff is and how to keep that moving, you can say, okay, I'm finished with my book. Now, how do I get started getting it published? And that's another ramp that you have to climb. So I would just encourage you to kind of think through the process of publishing while you do it. The second book is a literal came out of the first book and a lot of conversations. The book is tentatively called Guiding My Fate, and the fate is written as F8. So Maggie just called out Shonda Brown, dear friend of mine, probably one of the best people I know in the entire world. We've been doing vision boards together for, not going to call out the number of years. But the vision board, a new concept for me. I didn't know to vision. I didn't know that visioneering and visioning was a thing, and that having pictures and words would help bring these things to life. I'm going to plug another book in just a second. But out of my visioning, I realized that my stuff was kind of all over the place. And so I asked the Lord to give me some focus. I didn't want to leave things to fate. Remember that word, fate? Oh, well, what's going to be is going to be. I wanted to guide my fate. And He gave me 8 focus areas: faith, fitness, finance, focus, family, friendship, fellowship, and future. So those 8 areas guide my fate. Everything starts with my faith. Everything starts with my belief in Him. Well, if I'm not fit, if I'm not taking care of myself, I'm no good to anybody else. Finance is the number one source of stress in the world. Finances. So I had to focus on getting my finances. Focus for me is my vocation. Am I best at my vocation? Am I best? I want to be the best wordsmith. Forget my job title. I want people to say that lady is the best wordsmith I know. That's my focus. My family, birth family, extended family, surrogate family, adopted family, my family is important to me. There's a difference between friendship and fellowship, and a lot of times we don't understand that. This is fellowship, y'all. This is a like group of people, a body of people who are interested in and believe in the same thing. All your friends aren't necessarily interested in the same things that you are. So it's important that we have friendship and we have fellowship. My daddy used to say, if you're the smartest person in your bunch, you need a different bunch. Fellowship is when we're all learning and getting from each other. And so there's a difference between friendship and fellowship, and then future. I want to leave a legacy. I have 4 beautiful grandchildren, and I have a whole host of other little people. I call them littles that are part of my life. And I want to leave a legacy for them, something that they remember about me. They'll probably tell you she did words because they get books for birthdays, they get books for Christmas, they get books for good grades, they get books just because, but they know that words matter, and that's my legacy.
My goodness, just chills, just so good. I'm going back and I'm just looking at some of the pictures from Katrinda's birthday party, y'all, where she's sitting there, and I'm just taking footage of everybody who came out to support her and all the books that we saw that she had that she was autographing. It was incredible. I'm so, so proud of her. All right, let's see what else you all are saying in the chat. Killa says audiobooks would be great for people that drive for a living, also like truckers, Uber drivers, delivery drivers, etc., etc. Some runners like podcasts in their ears instead of music also. That's absolutely right. I know as a person who doesn't sit still much, I very rarely watch TV, and I am going to read the book, but I have my earbuds in all the time and I'm listening to personal development or positive things because I do think you need to seek that out because it's not just going to land on you. The world that we live in can pull you in another direction, so I look for the positive things. All right, Nakota has a question. If you're okay to answer, any tips on narrowing your niche down and how to identify your audience?
Yes. So I think, Nakota, I'm not sure if you heard at the beginning kind of how this first book came to be, but part of the reality, and literally, guys, when I started posting these on Facebook, there was never any intent to be a book. So I had to learn that you can go to Facebook and download anything that you've ever posted. They'll send you a complete download. So had to go back, get the complete download, and in the process, I started looking at who was actually commenting and responding to what I was writing, and that helped me narrow my niche. Um, I will say that it's probably 24 to plus people who are just looking for encouragement. Almost all of my writings have some spiritual reference. Sometimes there's a scripture. Sometimes there's just a quote there. So I did feel very strongly that religious faith was a category for me, but I didn't want to narrow the audience because some of the people, that were commenting weren't necessarily people that I would have immediately put in my audience, but because they were open to what I had to say, I included them in my audience. And so sometimes, and that's where a beta reader is always a good resource for you. You don't necessarily have to, have them read everything. There is a writing in the book about play cousins. And play cousins is something that's very common in the African American community. And so the proofreader was like, this doesn't make sense. And I'm like, yeah, it does. There's some people out there who know who mama and them are, and that's all you kind of have to say. And so, there are going to be some people in your audience who may not understand everything that you're positioning out there, but I would encourage you to think about who you're trying to reach, what you want people to take away from your writing, and what you want new people coming to your writing to experience.
I absolutely love that. Such great tips. You all see why I love her so much. Such a wealth of knowledge. Yes, people who work out would love the encouragement. Kay says, and Kay just bought a book, so I got your email. Cookbook, it's coming your way. She says, I also love words. Words are containers of energy. So I am mindful of the words that leave my mouth. Much gratitude to you both. Very inspiring. Yes, Katrinda, would you like to say anything about how powerful words are?
Well, there's I'm not going to keep reading from the book because y'all won't want to buy it afterward. But
Go ahead.
there are several references to the power of words. I think we all know the scripture, life and death is in the power of the tongue. And so um, your words can give life to other people. Your words can encourage people, as I said earlier. Your words can hurt people. And whether we intend to hurt people or not, we need to be as confident and as willing to say, I'm sorry, as we are anything else, because those words are cathartic. Whether you meant it or not, if the person is hurt and they hear, I'm sorry, I did not mean to hurt you, that just turns that whole situation. And there's a bit of space between um being hurt and forgiving and forgetting. That's not what this is all about. But too often we're reluctant to just say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and mean it. That's the other part, so um, there is. I'm gonna do this one, and then we'll. Um, hurt people hurt people. You hurt me is not an easy statement to make. For some reason, we prefer to walk around and suffer in silence rather than utter these three words. If we're a bit bold, we'll tell our bestie, our girls, or those who will commiserate with us. Misery loves company. I will tell the ones who will support me in my hurt easier than I will tell the person who hurt me. An interesting component of the dialogue on hurt is this basic fact. Only the people we care about are actually able to hurt us. Sure, the person in the doctor's office who speaks harshly to me hurt my feelings, but the hurt only lasted until I got out of the office and back in my car. I was soon on to the next thing, not letting that hurt, that sting, linger. In the normal to and from in the life in the 21st century, there are lots of hurts and stings every day because honestly, we seem to have lost a lot of the basic courtesies that have long been part of our cultural norms. We experience these hurts and move on in rapid fashion. But when the hurt comes from someone we love and care about, it lingers, it lasts, and it's not easily forgotten. Why? Well, first, we have this idea in our heads that loving and caring means never being hurt or causing pain. If you love me and care for me, you won't hurt me. If you love me and care for me, you will be diligent in tending to all of the things that matter to me in such a way that I'll never be hurt by you. Your love and care for me means that you'll never forget my birthday. You'll always know what I want and what I need, even without me telling you. Sorry, it doesn't work that way. Why? Because we're all human. Being human means we get busy and we forget birthdays. Being human means that we get distracted by things at work and sometimes neglect seeking to understand what you need. Being human means that we get frustrated after repeated efforts to ask you what you want, only to hear, you should know. At the same time, we make assumptions about never being hurt. We also assume that you know that the hurt exists. Regardless of why the hurt took place, it's more important that the hurtee and the hurter both address the issue. The person who feels hurt is responsible for saying so, and the person who caused the hurt is responsible for healing the hurt. How do we heal hurts? Not by pretending that they do not exist. It is simply by acknowledging that the hurt exists, extending sincere apologies, and working through the action and reaction to reduce the chances that there will be another hurt. There will be more hurts because we're human. But at least let's try not to repeat the same hurts over and over again. Heal your own hurt so you can focus on healing those hurts that you cause to others.
Y'all, I'm speechless. I'm just so soothed and just so, I don't know. That was incredibly beautiful. I was stuck on, before you even began reading, you said something about wanting to talk more to the people who will join you in your hurt than the one that actually caused the hurt. I mean, that misery loves company. It's so poignant and so beautifully said. You all, I don't know, y'all. That was just incredible. Let's see what they say in the chat as we wrap this up. Y'all better go get this book. If you can see, that's just one snippet. So this is a collection, a beautiful collection of readings just like that. So it's not like you have to read it from beginning to end, but you can pick up any section. There are, gosh, 3 pages of, I don't know, how many chapters do you have? It's like 30, 50,
Well,
70.
150 writings.
150 writings. So you all see, you can pick it up and just like a devotional or anything, you can go directly to the section that speaks to you that day, that afternoon, that whatnot. She has things about, I just loved it. Oh, thank you. Yes, you all please support. Oh my gosh, who do we have here? Cooking at Pam's Place. Miss Pam also has, do you know Miss Pam, Cooking at Pam's Place?
From yours, from you.
Oh my goodness. So Miss Pam and I were part of the favorite chef competition, but she is another content creator with a cooking channel and she is a beautiful spirit as well. I'm so glad that you're here, especially today. Ah, yes, Akila said that makes absolute sense. A great time saving tip. I forgot. I'm kind of behind in the chat, but let's see. Professor S says, "You ladies are so incredible. Keep doing what you're doing." I was serious though. I'm flying to Tampa tomorrow. I don't drink soda, but I can help. There's so many other beverages. Jurgen from Germany says a man's one word equals a woman's dictionary. I know, but in today's case, we love the beautiful artistry of words. Yes, and Randy says that was powerful. Well, I hope you all have enjoyed this as much as I have. Katrinda's book, first book, is My Morning Musings. Hopefully, you all got insight into the process, how she took her Facebook posts and inspirations from her daily walk and have turned them into an Amazon bestseller. I didn't know you could ask Facebook to send you all of your posts. You know, I've been posting the boys forever. I may have to turn that into a book for them. So that is incredible. How she got published, the inspiration, her lessons learned, how she picked a niche. So Katrinda, I'll give you the last words. What does Kila say? The time saving tip was referring to the comment, research the business side before you finish writing the book. That was huge because we think we have to have this whole thing done. I haven't even started my book, but I have an idea of what I want to do. So you've given me so many actionable tips. So I guess I'm going to ask you any final thoughts, anything you want to teach this class. Oh, one last thing I'm going to say, y'all. When Katrinda comes to speak to the finishing school, if you all want her to come back, you can let me know in the chat. She's already told me the name of her talk is going to be Courtesy is Not an Option. And I love that. So if you all would like to see Katrinda again, maybe when she has book number 2, let us know in the chat. But Miss Katrinda, what would you like to say to close us out?
Well, if you open the book, it in the acknowledgments, I talk about an African American tradition, which is, if you're familiar, first giving honor to God, who is the head of my life, something that we typically say. And I am extremely, extremely grateful, not only to God for the gifts that He has graced me with, but I'm also grateful for people like Maggie, who chance caused our paths to cross, choice causes them to stay connected. And if I can leave you with anything, I think that's it. Um, Ask yourself, and you will see this if you go to my website. I talked about my urban dictionary, but the young people now say, "How you living?" And that's kind of a way of kind of asking what's going on with you. And when I hear them say, "How you living?" I tend to respond to them by saying, "Are you living by chance or by choice?" Chance is simply you're letting whatever happens happen and you're dealing with it. Choice is that you have decided how you want your life to be. I think if you keep scrolling, let's see. Nope, go back up. Um, but as I just said, chance caused us to. Um, if you go to home, Maggie, and scroll down, you should see 4 little crowns. The crowns, guys, are because I'm a queen, McQueen. So you see there, living by choice and not by chance. And so, my encouragement, my admonition is be in charge of what you want. Um, you get to decide the direction. You get to decide the path. Are there going to be things that happen that you have no control over? Sure. But wouldn't it be so much better that the majority of those things are those that you purposed, those that you choose, as opposed to just saying, I'm going to wake up and take whatever life gives me for the day? So, as I said, Maggie, we met by chance. We stay connected by choice. Words matter.
Oh my goodness, y'all. I'm so humbled and grateful. And I do believe, accidents don't really happen. I believe, people come into our life for a reason. I have learned so much from Katrinda and continue to. And I'm so honored that I continue to get to share the people that are a blessing to me and my network with you all, Professor S, as we are all grateful for Maggie. Thank
Yes.
you so much for saying that. I'm going to close with one picture that I saw while I was looking at your book signing event. So, again, you all, the book is My Morning Musings. It's available on Amazon right now, Amazon Prime. You can get it within a couple days. Thank you to those of you all who have bought the book during this stream. You just let me know, and you're going to get a copy of my cookbook. Hopefully, you all have learned something. For those of you all that are budding authors, if you would like an autographed copy of your book like I had, this is me and Katrinda at her book signing event, you can cash app her and she will send you a beautifully autographed copy. Shunda says awesome. Killa says thank you, Miss Maggie, for bringing Miss McQueen to us. This was a great value. Oh my gosh, thank you. Miss Pam says beautiful words of wisdom. Yes, I know you all, there are lots of channels on the internet and lots of content. And when you all choose to come here, I want it to be worth your time. And I want to leave you better than I found you, whatever we're talking about. So I am so grateful. And the readings have been such a blessing to me. I cannot wait for the audio book. So Katrinda will be back. You have an open invitation whenever you have anything new. I want to share you with my audience of about 65,000, and because I believe the world needs to know who you
No,
are.
Maggie, if you read
Ma'am.
my post today, but you just said something that made me think about it, and I will say this very briefly. Today, I posted about grace friendships. And grace friendships, I actually posted a picture of me and two other people. One of those people in the picture was a friend of mine and has been for probably 40 years. The other person is my grace friend, and I call them grace friends because she befriended me because of the other person. Didn't know me, but extended grace to say, I know this other person. And if that person is friends with you, I'm willing to offer you friendship. Does that make sense? It's a grace thing, because until they get to know you, they don't know. And so what you just said made me think about that, because you have extended grace to me by allowing me to come before the people who love and trust you. I don't take that for granted. Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you, ma'am. Nakota says, don't be a stranger. Thank you for the help tonight. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you were uplifted. I hope you get your book, whether you get the paperback or the Kindle. And when the audiobook is available, believe me, you all will know. And when book number 2 is available, you all will know. So we will let you all have your Sunday evening. I hope you have a great week. When Miss Katrinda is ready to talk to the finishing school about courtesy is not an option, I will let you all know, because I believe not only do her words matter, but her words are meaningful and they mean so much to me. Yes, thank you all. All right, everybody,
Thank
until next time. Yes, absolutely. It's my absolute honor. All right, everyone, enjoy your week and we will see you next time.